Hi everyone, it's Armel here. We are for our second episode of podcast with 42 Bangkok. I'm joined by Victor Kannemacher. He's here. Sorry, he's a friend of mine. He has attended 42 Paris, just like me, and he's currently in France. And he has nicely agreed to talk with me to share his experience about 42. Hi Victor, how are you?
Hi, Armel. I'm fine, and you?
Good. Long time no see, right?
Oh, a long, long time.
So, Victor, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
As I said, I'm Victor. I'm from France. Was born in the east from Paris. Right now, I live in Paris. I'm 26 years old.
Let's do it in chronological order. Like, what were you doing before 42? What's your background?
Well, after my graduation from high school, I went to university to study economics. After 4 years of trying, I realized that it wasn't really made for me, so I changed my plan. I discovered 42 on social network, and I said to myself, let's give it a try. I went to a show of the school, and I realized that that was for me. So I went for a try, and I did a piscine.
So, you passed the Piscine.
Yeah, I passed the piscine.
That's not everyone can say this, huh? It's not that easy.
Sure, sure.
Can you explain to us why programming, why 42? Because it's quite different from economics. Like, were you interested in programming before? Like, did you have a passion? Did you have some coding background? Uh,
To be clear, I never opened a terminal once in my life before, and I didn't write a single line of code. But I was always attracted, if I can say that, to the computers. I always liked playing games. I liked being on the internet and discover things, learn things, Google things. So as you can see, programming spirit was already there.
that's obvious, isn't it? It seems to me that when you tell this, that everyone can try it. Like almost everyone can try it. Like it doesn't take a lot of experience to be able to start the PC.
Absolutely everyone can, with the right motivation, a little bit of patience, can go that way.
About the piscine, by the way, what can you tell us in a few words? What was your experience with the piscine?
I think it's honestly, it's one of the most humanly beautiful months I've spent in my life. Honestly, I think I've discovered a lot of people with a lot of different backgrounds, from mathematics to someone who was actually a chocolate maker in his old life, if I can say that. That was some people who I could never meet other than for the 42 piscine. On the other side, yeah, it was, for sure, it was exhausting. I met a lot of friends and met a lot of people to make bonds, and it worked out.
I see. Like when I hear you talk like this, it makes me feel like the most unique aspect of the piscine, but of 42 in general, is not really on the technical side, but more on the human side. Like it's a peer-to-peer school. Would you agree?
Yeah, that absolutely, absolutely. I mean, of course, you learn code, and of course, you learn some computer science, but you learn that by the human human way, and that's really interesting, and you can't find it on other schools.
What was different after the piscine? Because it's when you don't know about 42. I mean, it was the case for me, and I'm sure it was the case for you as well. When you before going into 42, it's very mysterious. You don't know what you will actually do in there. So, like, can you try to explain to the people listening to us what kind of pedagogy, what kind of day-to-day life it is to be a student at 42?
For me, it was a little bit like the rest of the rest of my time at 42 was a little bit like the Piscine actually. Like the work was the same. It's just that I spent way less time in the school than in the Piscine. It was not for 15 hours a day, and I had my weekends, but I kept going into school, working with a group of friends together, motivated, other people to help them with the Slack channels, with the day-to-day peers, like the corrections, being corrected, the exchange made by these ways. Of course, there was also more student life things around, like going out, etc. But on the work side, it was for me really similar to the Piscine.
Yeah. Okay. Did you specialize yourself? Did you do any? Because as the viewers may not know, in 42 you have a lot of project availability. You're able to pick and choose what you want to do up to a certain extent. Of course, some stuff you are mandatory, but some stuff you can decide what you want to do. Did you specialize yourself in a way at 42, Victor?
Not really. I wanted to give it a try to a little bit of every branch. I went that way, and then I went to my internship after going on all the projects I could do.
So again, just to explain to the viewers, after attending the school for a few months, but it depends on how fast you go as a student. But after attending the school for some time, you will have to do an internship. And Victor, can you tell us what was your internship? What did you do?
Sure. I was employed by a company who made APIs to get transactions and bank account data from the bank websites and make them available in order to get this to program applications or all kind of stuff.
Trying to find other words to describe it. It's like automatic, like trying to write a program to get data automatically from some web application, something like this.
Yes, the company was selling this API where you could reach to get all the information about your bank accounts, all your transactions you made. My job was to make the calls available to the banks actually, make the connection between the banks and our API in a secure way, and collect all the data available.
So the language do you use? Like, did you apply the things that you learned at 42 before going there? Like, were you recruited, were you hired in this internship because of some certain skills you had at 42?
I think my interest of things made me hireable. Like I had many questions about the product. How did they make certain things? How, I don't know, how or why did they choose some technology over another? And the language I used was Python. I actually was hired without writing a single line of code in Python before. So I showed them that I was ready to learn this language in order to get hired. So they said, yeah, okay, let's give it a try. And it was well.
That's very interesting, I think. It makes you think that programming language is not that important or not that relevant.
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm convinced that once you learn how the language are made in general, you can go for everything. For every language, every modern language, you don't have to know them by heart.
I completely agree, and that also answered the question I get a lot, like why do you see at 42? Well, here you are, Victor, who didn't know programming, who learned C at 42 and who started his first internship in Python without ever have written a line of Python before. So it's quite telling.
Yeah, all of this is true, and I also had this question: why am I learning C at 42? I also asked this question. So
back to 42 a little bit. What can you tell? What was the biggest challenge as a student there? Was the something very like a good memory, something that marked your mind for life? Like what can you remember about 42 still today?
I think the hardest challenge I faced at 42 is to keep motivated. It's really easy to go away from the project and to take some other time than at the school. So keeping the motivation can be hard. It has to be an habit. Well, I mean, you have to go every day, and it becomes regular thing. I think it is really important to avoid being on the side, if you know what I mean. One of my best memory, I went to a couple friends in the US, 42.
Nice.
That was one of my best memory. We discovered a little bit of Silicon Valley. Yeah, I think that was my best memory at 42.
So Victor went to 42 US Silicon Valley as part of the 42 exchange program, and that's actually where we met.
Yeah.
We didn't see each other in Paris, but we met in the US. Thank you, Victor. What are you doing now? What's your job?
Right now, I'm a little bit between two jobs. I'm data engineer slash ML ops. So I'm building pipelines in order to handle data and machine learning algorithms. And I'm also building the cloud formation of my company in order to handle these algorithms, this data, these databases, etc. So yeah, that's my job right now. My job is at Paris in a French company. Yeah, it's really interesting. And as I said, I had absolutely no background in machine learning or in data before, and I managed to get there. So it's possible for everyone.
Oh, thank you very much. I think it's very insightful, and it can give a lot of hope to some people, like being able to like get this kind of career. You don't need to start programming since you're 8 years old. Like you can start very late and still being able to do this. So thanks a lot, Victor. Last, before we finish, with your experience now, can you give any advice to a new student at 42 or to someone who wants to start programming, or both?
Talk with people. Like I think it's one of the most important thing, especially in 42. Like you have to exchange with people, with students, with people in the school. Yeah, as I said, keep motivated in the school. I think everything will be fine. The projects can be hard, but if you, as I said, go a little bit every day, you'll get there. And last, always try to learn things like Google things, write things on the side. You learn that in the Piscine, but Google is your friend every time, even in your professional life. So that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Victor.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this podcast with me. And of course, you're welcome to visit us at 42 Bangkok anytime you want. And I'm sure I will not be the only one glad to meet you. Well, thanks again.
Thanks.
And see you later, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Bye.